What's up, podcast listeners? Andy and Drew are back. Welcome to episode 32 of the What's Up Castleberry podcast. Andy, if you can't tell, I'm excited. I'm giddy.
It sounds like you're about to break into song or something, Drew. And please, for our listeners' sake, don't do that.
I will not sing. That is not what I get paid the big bucks for. Well, neither is podcasting, but we are here. We are Castleberry residents. Welcome to our What's Up Castleberry pod. Andy and I love to have conversations about Castleberry, Seminole County, and I love interviewing and sharing conversations with those in our community. And we've got a great episode with Kinsey Lallathin a little bit later, both a sponsor and a resident, as well as a very involved citizen in Castleberry. Andy, I've seen you up bright and early. I knew that you were one that likes to get up early and get out and exercise. And I have not been. However, my son was fussing quite a bit, and to keep him quiet and keep my wife asleep, I walked outside and I saw you exercising the other day. How was just the walks relatively recently? Have you seen anything of note that you would tell our listeners to go walk or jog past?
Oh, well, I got to see a cute baby son, and that was certainly of note. And he is a happy, big, smiling guy who was wide-eyed and taking in the world. I'm a big sunrise kind of junkie, to be a little bit vulnerable. One of my hobbies each year is to see how many sunrises I can see. And so I get up early, and I've kind of scouted out a few places around the city where I'll go and watch the sunset. So I always try to run around those places so I can kind of check those things off as well. But it was good to see you. And I think that's one of the great things about our community, right? When we're up and out early in the morning, we run into people we know. When we're at the store doing our grocery shopping, we see someone we know. And it's those little touches, I think, that make a community a community. And I'm glad we're part of this one together.
Absolutely. Yes, sir. Producer Robin, glad to see you as well. Robin, I know you're a big rollerblader, and I think you're going to appreciate the Castleberry in the News segment this particular episode. So our Castleberry in the News segment, the Orlando Sentinel wrote an article about the kind of green space and walkability, bikeability of the community. If you recall, a few episodes ago, we highlighted that one of the goals of our city is to be the most walkable, bikeable, accessible in and around Central Florida. And so the article, Andy, here was that there is a new Seminole Trail that will give Castleberry bicyclists access to an even larger trail network throughout Central Florida. That's exciting.
Oh, it is. I can't get enough of this. I'm very excited about the park development and the trail development. And as I shared earlier, I love finding these hidden cut-throughs and trails and walking places. And it's real easy to get around the city pretty quickly through them. I think we have trails that connect about 7 or 8 of our parks together. And the reason I know that is that one morning I tested it out. I think I got like 9 or 10 parks. I took a picture of each one, and I didn't have to go over a main road once to get there. Maybe
all in one day.
Well, honestly, it took me a couple of hours, but that's not long, is it? The only downside for me about having a trail that connects us to Seminole County is that I may walk it and find out it takes me about 5 hours and have to call Tracy to come and pick me up afterwards. But I mean, I love it. I love the accessibility. I love the vision. And I would really encourage people to get out a little bit more. We really do have some beautiful spots and sites around us, and it's so healthy for us to get a little bit of exercise at our own pace, to breathe in the fresh air. It changes us physically, obviously, but it also strengthens and changes our emotional outlook as well.
Absolutely. And as you mentioned, just being able to see neighbors and those in the community, make those connections. And as we see in this article, there are more and more parks as well as accesses to parks and around the community. So there's always something new to explore and check out. Well, folks, we are excited to hopefully have an upcoming mailbag episode of listener questions. So send them in. Let us know what you would like us to talk about, to discuss here on our podcast. There are multiple platforms and ways for you to connect with Andy, producer Robin, and myself. You can go to our Facebook page or Instagram page, both titled What's Up Castleberry, and message us on those platforms. You can also leave a question or comment in the review section if you subscribe to our podcast feed. And you can go to our website, whatsupcastleberry.com, and leave a comment there. We love hearing from our listeners, and we've got a listener question today, and it involves the most recent upload from our conversations on race. So here's the question. It says, hey, appreciate you guys making that bonus episode. That's right. We've downloaded a bonus episode on our website and our podcast feed on race and reconciliation. And then the question continues, when are the other conversations being made available? And what's been the general feedback from those conversations? Andy, do you want to weigh in?
Yeah, so by the time that this episode releases, we should have released conversation number 2 of the conversations. And then hopefully the following Friday, this Friday, we'll release conversation number 3. And because these have been so informative and so helpful to so many, we're working to put on a conversation number 4, which will center around law enforcement and issues of race. And our chief is very excited to be involved in that. He's keen to share their perspective. And I think that will be very helpful to people in setting some context about the challenges that our nation is facing. Drew, I went back just yesterday to look at the number of participants who have viewed those conversations. And we've only had a few folks come in person to those events, and that's totally understandable with the COVID fears and that situation. But over the course of the 3 conversations, it looks like we've had over 2,500 views. And I can't tell you how much that excites me, because that says that there's 2,500 people who are concerned about the situation, who want to be vulnerable and humble and honest and listen to what's going on. And 2,500 people who perhaps want to learn and become better citizens as we tackle this race problem together. So for me, it's all been a win. I hope you are enjoying them on the podcast. If you would like to watch them, my church is actually hosting them on our website as well. We've taken the streams from the other churches, and you can watch them at www.ourchurchtogether.com/media. And we would really encourage you to do that, because there's just some profound and rich and helpful conversations and learning points that have come out of that.
That's excellent, Andy. And of course, the genesis of these conversations on race and reconciliation stirred up from earlier this summer with the death of George Floyd. We as a community came together and walked and prayed in our community, starting at Target, going down the Divine Truth Center, and local churches and community leaders have gathered, and we are talking. This is a talking point. I think to the listener's question regarding the general feedback, the general feedback has been very, very positive. We are very candid and upfront about the reality of not knowing fully the implications and having all of the answers to these questions, but we've found time and time again that the willingness and the vulnerability to move and speak with people who don't look like one another, but who all desire the same thing in coming together, in unifying, and being reconciled together, it's produced nothing but positive results. So we're excited, as Andy mentioned, the next step being a further conversation with some of our law enforcement. And then after that, there's several other things potentially in the queue. So stay informed. You can listen to those conversations at our website, whatsupcastleberry.com, or our podcast feed. And as Andy said, if you would like to watch the videos, you can go to ourchurchtogether.com/media. Thank you for the listener question. And now a word from our sponsor. Today's sponsor is All In Construction Services. We're just about to have a conversation with Kinsey Lallathin. All In Construction Services is about offering beautiful home remodeling, renovations, and additions. They've served Central Florida since 2008. You can go to their website to learn more at allinconstruction.com. All In Construction is proud to support the residents and businesses of Castleberry specifically. Kinsey, our guest today, is a member of the Castleberry Chamber of Commerce, and All In is your local home remodeling resource. Again, that's allinconstruction.com.
Oh, welcome back, listeners, to our favorite part of the show where we get to talk about other people and we get to hear other voices that are much more charming and important than our own. We have a very special guest today. We have Kinsey Lallathin with us from All In Construction. First of all, Kinsey, I'm so sorry. I probably pronounced your last name. How'd I do?
You actually did really good. Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, that was the first test, so that means I can continue hosting your first test to see whether you continue as a guest, which you will because everybody does, is to tell us a little bit about yourself, Kinsey. Who are you? What do you do? What's your connection to the city? Those kind of things.
Sure. My name is Kinsey Lallathin, and I am a resident of Castleberry. I've lived in Castleberry for almost 10 years now. In the last few years, have become very involved with the Castleberry Chamber of Commerce, and I work locally. My office is in Longwood, but I service Seminole County area with working marketing at All In Construction Services.
Fantastic. Andy and I both have gotten to know you through the Chamber of Commerce. We'll kind of circle back to that in a little bit. For our listeners out there, one of the favorite, fastest growing games in the podcast world is our What's Up Castleberry Icebreaker Word Association game. So, Kinsey, we're going to just kind of throw out some
we should copyright it, Drew, because it's so fast growing.
I know. No one's ever thought of doing an icebreaker before. There's no wrong answer. This is just first thing off the brain. Andy and I will kind of go back and forth and we'll read a term and just first thing that pops in your head, just shout it out.
Okay.
Right. Kinsey, I don't know if you're a sports fan or not, but first question, what's your sports team?
I would say Tampa Bay Bucks, just because that's always been my dad's favorite team.
Excellent. And now's a good time. They just got a big star in Tom Brady, so good choice.
Yeah.
If they'll ever be able to start the season and use him, that's a good thing.
I know.
All right, Kinsey, favorite movie?
Man, that one's hard. I wouldn't say I'm a movie buff, but I've watched a lot of movies. Have to go back to my childhood and say The Goonies.
Oh, The Goonies. Great choice.
Great classic choice.
Hey, I've just been introducing my kids to The Goonies.
Yes.
Very nice. All right, Kinsey, do you have a favorite ice cream flavor?
Anything with Reese cups or peanut butter cups or anything like that, I'll take it.
We can be friends. I'm in this. Yes, peanut butter. Reese is all about it. Good choice.
Producer Robin was nodding as well with that answer. If Matt says, your husband, Kinsey, we're going on a date, where do you want him to take you? What's your favorite date spot?
I always like a good coffee date or breakfast date. Those are my favorite. Easy, casual. Or anything by the water. Like it could be a lake, it could be the beach, a retention pond with a fountain, like anything by the water.
Very nice.
Like the water aisle in Publix or something like that. Is that
Yeah.
I like that you don't have to dress up, just kind of show up casual, easy breezy. Very nice.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Kinsey, for your final icebreaker question, we know you're a fitness guru. Hopefully you're going to educate some of our listeners, including the hosts of this podcast. What is a workout or an exercise in particular that you enjoy, that you find works really well?
One thing I'll never give up on is weight training. So I believe in the power of weight training. I'm not a cardio bunny, as you would say. So I love sculpting muscles, building muscle, and training my body for balance and strength. So weight training all the way.
Fantastic. There you go. Andy, I don't do a lot of that.
It's like a foreign language to me. I've got no idea what you just sculpting.
Give it a try. I promise. It's great.
Well, I'm a cardio bunny. Bunny.
Okay.
That's a weird image, Andy. I'm not going to.
It works. I mean,
it works.
Any kind of exercise is good. I'm not putting down any type of exercise, but I'm a weight training girl.
There you go.
Well, we'll be sure not to pick a fight with you then, Kinsey.
Okay.
Kinsey, you've lived an interesting life. You have lots of passions and things you're involved with. What would you tell us, or maybe like 3 or so, just real highlights of your life? If you were to share kind of an autobiography, what would you title maybe the top 3 or so things of your life that you're proud of?
Let's see. First, I would faith, family, love. That could be like a chapter. Obviously, my faith in my family and loving people, family, friends, that's number 1. Let's see. Health and fitness. I already touched on that, but I'm very passionate about that. And it comes in many shapes and forms, but I think everybody should take responsibility for their health and practice fitness. And so I could go on and on about that. And my career has looked different over the years, but always with a similar theme. So I would put career as a chapter, and the theme that has run through my career has been passion. So I always find passion and have a job or path that I feel excited and motivated about. And then let's see, a couple more chapters might be like making the house a home. I love decorating. I love home decor. I love entertaining. And last but not least, coffee.
Coffee.
I love coffee, drinking coffee and hanging out with my dog. That would be a chapter in its own. Very boring chapter, but it would be a chapter.
Well, maybe a boring chapter, but it sounds like an interesting book.
Yes.
Kinsey, you spoke about your career and this themes of passion that has been running through your career. You mentioned that you're with a company for the past few years called All In Construction. What drew you to them? What's your role on that team? And what is All In Construction all about?
Sure. So when I made some career changes, I've always worked in marketing and business development. That's what I went to college for. And I truly do have a passion and I guess a natural talent for marketing, promotions, events, and then, growing businesses through development of relationships. And so that's been a common theme. But when I was looking for a new opportunity, I knew I wanted to stay close in the community. I was already involved with the chamber lightly, just a little bit, but I knew I wanted to really grow my presence and the business I worked for's presence in my local community because I'm passionate about that. So why wouldn't I want to do something I'm passionate about? So I found All In Construction through, traditional applying for jobs. And I immediately just fell in love with the people, the culture, their mission and vision for the company. And it was just a perfect fit. And like I mentioned, the office is in Longwood. So I do get to still service and network and build relationships here locally in our surrounding areas. And with All In Construction, it's a general contractor. We have been around since 2008. So a company born during a recession. Very proud of that, and has continued to grow over the years, now about 11 years of business. We do home remodeling and renovations, strictly residential homes. We work directly with homeowners. And our vision statement really is adding value to the great American dream. And the American dream is, home ownership or building equity and an asset through real estate. And with All In Construction, we're able to maintain that value by maintaining the home, renovating the home, customizing the home, and just maintaining and holding value for the homeowner and adding value to the overall community through property value. So I love it. It's great. And the people are amazing.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
That's great. As a part of a business with All In Construction, one of our goals, Kinsey, is to partner with local businesses and to share kind of what's going on like we're doing right now. Kinsey, could you speak to how you got connected with our podcast and why you agreed to serve as a sponsor? We're thrilled to have All in Construction be a sponsor. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah. At All in Construction, our service area is primarily Orange and Seminole County. We don't spread our project managers out across the state or the region. We really like to keep a localized focus. There's plenty of work to go around, and there's plenty of people that need our services right here in our backyard. This podcast and supporting this was perfect as far as advertising goes, because we wanted to get the word out about our company to the local listeners. And I know there's listeners all over, but a lot of people obviously that are passionate about Castleberry are listening. And I personally, like we've talked about, I'm involved in the Castleberry Chamber of Commerce, and I've served on, different boards in Castleberry, and I just really am prideful of what we have to offer in Castleberry. And because of my position in the business, I just felt like it was a really good fit to support the local community, support something good that's going on in our local community, put our business behind it, because again, our business supports local residents with lots of different things that we do.
Fantastic. It's a perfect segue. Tell us, as a resident and somebody who's very involved in the community, a little bit about your volunteer experiences. You're serving in the chamber. Could you tell us, maybe start there, start with the Castleberry Chamber of Commerce.
Sure.
Where are you serving and what do you enjoy doing?
Right now, I'm currently serving as the first vice president of the Castleberry Chamber of Commerce, and very proud of that leadership role and excited to grow with the chamber. And prior to that, I was a member of the board and just a general member, and really got to know everyone. And I also volunteer with the Center for Independent Living, and it's a nonprofit located in Winter Park. They provide services, training, and assistance to people living with disabilities, and they advocate for them and make awareness for disability inclusion in the community, and that's any disability, physical or even a hidden disability. And so I support them in different ways. What else do I do? Oh, my husband is the HOA president, which, gets a bad rap sometimes, but I must say he does a really good job. So we live in the reserve at Legacy Park in Castleberry. And like myself, he's just very passionate about the community, maintaining value in the community, really just prideful of what we have to offer and maintaining that. And so I help him out with that. I'm an unofficial social chair, I would say, of our neighborhood. So I'm always coordinating pool parties or Halloween get-togethers, or I did a food drive for Christian Help and got all the neighbors to donate stuff. And so I'm always thinking of ways to kind of just bring the neighbors together. So that's another thing I do locally and really unofficially.
Well, I love that. One of the things that we're all about, and we've probably said it 1,000 times, is trying to bring people together, because when we bring people together, we can do great things together that we couldn't do on our own. I had no idea you were part of the Center for Independent Living. I've worked with them over the years and just very, very impressed with the services they offer and the way that they support. As we said, we're all involved in the Chamber of Commerce. And in fact, at tomorrow's chamber meeting, What's Up Castleberry is going to be acknowledged as a brand new member. So we kind of, as the podcaster, they're at home right now. And you're going to be the president next year, which
I
sounds
am.
do we have to call you Miss Madam President or anything like that? Is that?
I don't think so.
All right. Okay. We will if you need us to. Tell us a little bit about your vision as you look to leading in 21. I think there's a lot of business owners who are pleased to see the back of 2020, and we're hoping that 21 will be a new year for business and growth and things like that. What are some of your hopes and dreams and goals and visions for the chamber over the next year?
Yeah. Well, that's one thing. That's a good point. I'm actually very lucky, I guess you could say, that I get to have year 2021 and not 2020 because I give Tim, our current president, a lot of credit because this year has not been normal. But in 2021, I was thinking about that, and I'd really love to just engage current members. There's a lot of members. Some people aren't as engaged as maybe they thought they initially would be. And obviously this year looked a lot different, but I'd love to engage members in different things and get them more involved in maybe something they haven't tried before, whether it's something in the community or something chamber related. And then I'd also really love to introduce the chamber to the community a lot more, because whether people are able to join the chamber or not, I want people to understand what the chamber is doing. And sometimes I think that unless you're involved, you don't really see the day-to-day things that are going on in the chamber and what they're giving back to the community. So I'd love to present the chamber more often in front of the community. And hopefully that turns around with just a snowball effect of more involvement and accomplishing a lot more for the prosperity of Castleberry.
Yeah,
Excellent.
I think many people think of the chamber as just kind of a social club, but it really fills a vital need and plays a vital role in our society, right? In connecting businesses and stimulating businesses. So I love that vision to connect more with the community.
Andy and Kinsey, I've found, and Kinsey, you probably could speak to this. I found serving in the chamber or in other various community boards and organizations that you learn some leadership skills and develop your character and your ability to lead. What are some of the maybe one or two things that you've learned, Kinsey, through leading in the chamber as well as just jumping in and being involved in the community?
I would say two things. First, I am one of those people that likes to sit back and watch. So I always recommend if you get involved in an organization, some people jump in and they just want to throw out a lot of ideas. And I'm definitely an ideas person, that's for sure. But sometimes sitting back and watching and learning from good moves and maybe bad decisions or maybe some things that weren't thought through. It's very good to just observe an organization. And then when you sit back and do that, you may see a hole that you can fill and a place where you can step in and say, I see an area that's lacking, or I have an idea that maybe no one's had before, and I feel like I can fill that role. And so it's a good fit for you because you're passionate about it, and it's a good fit for them because you see the need. So as far as leadership goes, sometimes it takes kind of stepping back from yourself before you can make that move forward. And then I would say, on the other hand, once you have a seat at the table and your voice is being heard, don't be afraid to throw out ideas. Don't be afraid to think outside the box. You might have 10 great ideas and one might stick but I don't know if that's leadership, but I feel like it's not being afraid to have a voice. And so those are my kind of two tips that have worked for me as I grow in the role.
I hear you. It sounds like you're kind of saying first take stock of the situation, observe, and then take chances, jump in with both feet. Yeah, that's great. We have time for just a couple more kind of more rapid fire questions as we conclude our conversation with you, Kinsey. You are obviously a busy person. Your husband is a firefighter and very busy as HOA president as well. If you guys both had a day off, what do you do? Where would you go? Maybe around the community?
Yeah, those days off at the same time are rare because sometimes he works on the weekends or I have something going on. But we love, I hope some other people listening do this too, and I'm not a weirdo. We like to, one, obviously get coffee, and then drive around. Does anybody else do that? We're like old people. I like to, sorry, older listeners, but we just like to drive around the neighborhoods, the community, look at how people paint their houses or what they're doing with their landscaping or what houses are for sale, even though we're not looking for one. We like to just drive around, and I think it's good quality time. We're not on our phones. We're forced to just chit chat as things come to mind. And then I also love going to Alex's Kitchen. I have to give them a plug. Alex's Kitchen in Castleberry. We go there together often. And sometimes we get donuts. So that's kind of like our day off norm for sure.
That's funny. And just to reassure our listeners, it doesn't sound too creepy that you're just driving around spying on people, but
I swear I'm not spying. I just like driving really slow by your house and taking pictures because I like your landscaping. Okay.
No, Kinsey, I don't think that's weird at all. And I have done similar things. It's just nice to slow down sometimes, right? And just look around and see what's happening. So if it's weird, you're definitely in good company with weird people here. So.
Okay.
Kinsey, as we wrap up, we're so grateful for you and all you do in the community. We're so grateful for All In Construction and for your sponsorship and support and the numerous ways that you and they are involved in the community. How can people connect with you if they'd like to get to know you and the company a little bit more?
Sure. I'm just going to be easy, and I'm going to give you my phone number. So I have a work cell phone, so it's not a personal line, but you're welcome to call me or text me if you have questions about All In Construction or the Castleberry Chamber or anything we talked about today. My cell phone number is 407-576-2708. And if you want to know more about All In Construction or simply email me through the website, it's allinconstruction.com. You can get a hold of me through that platform as well.
That's great. Thank you for being so vulnerable and sharing your phone number. You may well get some calls from local residents saying, what's the best yard to drive by in Castleberry? What's the prettiest street? Those kind of things.
I hope I do. No, I'm just kidding.
That could be a new aspect of your community service, the Castleberry tours.
Yes. Text me for this season's special. No. Next up, Christmas lights. No.
That's right. That's great. Kinsey, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you so much for all that you do for our community to make it stronger and better and more vibrant. We really appreciate you and the ways that you serve. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you, Andy and Drew, and thank you for everything you do. And this podcast is amazing, and I'm very proud of you guys. So thank you.
What a joy it was to hear from Kinsey and all that's happening, both with All In Construction as well as in the community. Kinsey, we really appreciate your time with us today. Andy, as we close out another episode, we love to be inspired and encouraged. Could you share an inspirational moment with us?
Yeah, Drew, a quote of the week comes from Mahatma Gandhi, who said this: "In a gentle way, you can shake the world. In a gentle way, you can shake the world." Two things that really strike me about this quote. One is towards the end of the quote where he talks about shaking the world. And he's suggesting that things can change, that things need to change, that things can get better and people can get better and situations can get better and systems can get better. And they can. And it's our responsibility to do what we can to disrupt that which is wrong about the world, to shake it into place. But I love that he tells us as well how we do that. We must do that in a gentle way. We must do that in a way that acknowledges worth, that cares for people, that loves people in appropriate ways. It's very easy if we try to shake the world in violent ways that we become part of the problem. So if we're going to change the world, let's do so in strong but tender, in gentle and caring ways. Mahatma Gandhi said, in a gentle way, you can shake the world.
Very good. And as our conversation with Kinsey kind of poured out, observing where you are and then engaging in a real way. That was excellent, Andy. Thank you for that quote. Folks, we hope you've enjoyed the episode of the What's Up Castleberry podcast, a casual conversation about our community. This podcast is produced with the help and work of Robin Kepi and James Bittner. For more information, please check out our website, whatsupcastleberry.com, our Facebook page, Instagram, or podcast feed, all with the name What's Up Castleberry. Like and subscribe, share with someone this podcast. We record and produce every Tuesday morning. And until next time, we hope you have a great week.